So you're a newly licensed insurance agent and you're being told by one IMO that final expense is definitely the way to go. And then another IMO is saying, nah dude, mortgage protection is happening, bruh. So what's the truth? Is one better than the other? What about lead availability? Underwriting? Renewals? What's the deal between the two? You're probably not gonna like what you hear today, but I have no choice but to be super transparent. Today, we're gonna get into the real deal with final expense versus mortgage protection. And I'm even gonna share the differences between both markets, including placement and persistence. 2, the lead availability for both products. 3, which one is easier to market to, and 4, by selling one of these products, you're gonna have the ability to sell a lot more than the other. Oh yeah. And you're gonna have the right clients to go back to for the ultimate cross-selling scenario that can actually give you a 6-figure residual lifetime passive income stream. Oh, and I got some great news, guys. The likes are totally free. And if you subscribe with the notifications turned on, you're gonna know when we put out new content. 2011 was the last full-time calendar year that I targeted the mortgage protection market as a Hartford agent. That was when we lost the lead program and we lost that universal life product that we were selling. And yes, that was when I became an independent life insurance agent. As an independent agent, leads were much harder to get than what I was used to. And throughout 2012, it became apparent that the lead availability was not very good going forward, as a mortgage protection agent at least. That was when I was introduced to final expense insurance sales. Right off the bat, we noticed an obvious difference in the type of people that we were making presentations to. The mortgage protection leads were mostly folks that, had a career, a regular job, or they worked for a living, but the final expense leads were targeting people who were the exact opposite. Low income, fixed income, not working, on disability. A lot of these folks lived in some pretty sad conditions. However, these folks were easier to sell and easier to convince than like the doctors and lawyers and the professionals that we had been dealing with before. Professionals, especially doctors that live in the big cities, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Miami, where we were selling in, that was our market. These folks all seem to have one thing in common. They are absolutely convinced that they know everything, and when you're selling a life insurance product, it can be a lot tougher to sell a doctor than a lady who's living off her Social Security check. And, she doesn't really want her daughter to be stuck with the funeral bill, right? What about the differences in leads? With final expense, we were doing mail drops through different mail houses. This wasn't easily doable with mortgage protection, and the one thing I noticed right away was that it was and is a lot easier to generate final expense leads than mortgage protection leads as an independent life insurance agent. Unfortunately, if you want mortgage protection leads today in this market, you'll most likely have to join a multi-level marketing insurance agency, which means 1, taking a commission cut, 2, most likely working a recycled lead as your main source at least, and 3, if this doesn't work out, most of these MLM insurance agencies do not grant releases. Guys, there are more mortgage protection insurance agents than there are leads right now, which is really why we got away from selling mortgage insurance in the first place. That's the fact, Jack. And feel free to leave a comment below whether you agree or not. It's all good, guys. Now, let's talk a little bit about underwriting differences between mortgage protection and final expense. Mortgage protection does have a little more underwriting unless you're selling a fully underwritten term or universal life product. Then the underwriting process is a lot more than that of final expense. To me, the main thing that I love about final expense sales is that most final expense carriers only do like an MIB background check along with maybe a prescription check. And a lot of the final expense carriers will give you a choice of doing an electric application or a paper application. Now, With the e-app, the carriers usually let you know if the client is approved as applied for by the time you've finished filling out the application. Oh yeah. With paper applications, some of the carriers and some of these products will either require or give you the option of doing a phone interview with the client. Now, the idea is to have the option of setting up a paper app and seeing if they qualify, or doing the phone interview and finding out immediately if they qualify or not. And yes, some of the mortgage protection products do this too, but with most carriers, the underwriter can actually ask for more information, like medical records. When I sum up the differences, between the two, final expense versus mortgage protection, the final expense leads are easier to generate, the clients are easier to sell to, the products and underwriting is easier to get approvals for, and on top of that, there is a lot more renewals with final expense / whole life products versus mortgage protection / universal life and term products. The one place that mortgage protection will beat final expense is placement and persistence. Mortgage protection clients tend to stay on the books a lot better and longer than the final expense clients. As a matter of fact, agents that sell final expense part-time and end up quitting after just a few months will often get into debt, especially when they make a bunch of sales and don't do any service work, and they think they're just going to walk away from the business. Final expense does take a lot more service work than mortgage protection. Remember, guys, these low-income folks are not the most responsible group of people. Service is high with the final expense clients, and they take a lot more hand-holding and babysitting than our common or typical mortgage protection clients ever did. I've given you some pros and cons about final expense versus mortgage protection, so now I'm going to share the gold. The money shower, baby. We're talking the long-term potential. The leads that we use to target final expense clients are the same leads that target the Medicare Advantage clients. Why is this important? Medicare Advantage is usually a zero premium insurance product that practically all of our low-income seniors absolutely must have. For you, the agent, as of 2022, Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans pay $573 for the first year the client is enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, along with a lifetime income stream of $287 per year. So think about it. Over a 10-year period, your commission for each enrollee is between $2,870 and $3,156, depending on whether you sell them their first MAPD plan or if you enroll them from one plan to another. If you'd like access to our Medicare Advantage free leads / leads credit platform, which pays full commission and first day vesting, or if you'd like more information on selling final expense through us, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. Remember, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now, get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting. I'm even gonna, come on, relax. A real six-figure residual,